place the meeting.
All right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Passion Fundraising 201. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Lisa Berthume, and I am the Fundraising Customer Service Specialist here at the National Office, and I'm also the guru for this field, and I'm here to help you or any of your volunteers navigate the Passion Fundraising website. Just a few pieces of housekeeping information. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please open your chat and type any questions and address them to host, presenter, and panelists, and we will answer those towards the end of the call. And if you have logged in with your chapter name or just using your first name, be sure to email Jessica Dahl with that information so you receive credit for attending this course. So during this call today, we hope to provide an in-depth review of strategies for Passion Fundraising that you can employ at your chapter to boost fundraising and meet goals. We will hear from some chapter staff who have experienced great success, and they will share their wisdom and their mastering of the Passion Fundraising website. The webinar will cover these 4 topics: identifying opportunities for Passion Fundraising events, moving existing Passion Fundraising or WRAP events to the website, hosting chapter canceled walks on the Passion Fundraising website, and key strategies for maximizing fundraising efforts. So without further ado, I would like to turn things over to Jeffrey Hardin, who is a development director in the Delaware Valley chapter. He is going to walk us through where he really saw some opportunities for Passion Fundraising events, and he worked closely with his participants to turn them into successful fundraising campaigns. So, Jeffrey?
Thanks, Lisa. So, my first story is about the University of Delaware Blue Hens women's rowing team. There was a CF adult on the rowing team, and she used to walk in great strides with her family as a kid, then subsequently moved to Delaware for college, and she shared her story with her teammates, and they were excited and motivated, and they wanted to get involved with the foundation somehow. So they contacted my executive director, and they expressed interest in maybe volunteering, maybe doing great strides, but as I spoke with them, we discovered that great strides really wasn't the best fit. They have practices on the weekends, and there was a concern that the day of the event might end up conflicting with one of their practices or even one of them. So what really clicked for them is when I started to talk about Passion Fundraising. This opened them up to talk about doing a different event that would still go towards great strides and reflect locally, but they could tailor it to fit their interests. So they developed a CF row competition, and that really allowed them to elevate their fundraising. What they ended up doing, and this played into their natural competitiveness, is pitting 2 of the boats against one another to see who could raise the most money. And by doing so, they raised $11,000 their first year. Another example that we had is by working with the sorority Delta Phi Epsilon. As you may know, Delta Phi Epsilon, or D-Phi E, is a sorority that's raised money for the CF Foundation for nearly 6 decades. Their signature fundraising event, as you can see a picture of it here on this slide, is Deefer Dude. It's a male beauty pageant that they hold on college campuses across the country. There are currently 10 Deefer Dudes that are on the Passion Fundraising website, from right here in Philadelphia to University of Miami to Charlotte, North Carolina. Here in Philadelphia, as again you see pictured, we work closely with the Drexel chapter of D-Phi. So the way that Deefer Dude works is organizers can set up an event page, and then all the participants set up individual fundraising pages and ask for donations, which is a part of the contest. We worked with our contact at Drexel and explained how this can work and taught them how to use that functionality, and they were actually able to increase their D for Dude event proceeds from $18,000 to $30,000. More specifically about how that personal fundraising page works so well for them is they used it to enhance their publicity and fundraising. The key was showing the participants how they could customize their passion fundraising page, make it personal for each of the contestants, and use those different pages to inspire some friendly competition. Having those individual pages and all the built-in features of the Passion Fundraising website for social sharing enabled them to promote their fundraising campaign on social media more effectively than they've done in the past. Our D5E contacts also especially enjoyed the fact that there is a custom look for Delta Phi Epsilon that you can use in the Passion Fundraising website. As you look there, you can see their logo, and purple is their color, so it just made them feel more at home on the site. Another and last feature that really helped with the D for Dude event, since it is a fundraising competition, is showing them how to monitor their progress on the leaderboard, so they can see, who they're trying to knock off for the #1 spot, and this really encouraged a friendly rivalry between the contestants. So if you have a D for Dude event with D5E or another event run by college students, fraternities, or sororities, I hope these tips are helpful.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And I just wanted to reiterate highlight a few key points that Jeffrey reviewed. So CFF events may not always fit into everyone's schedule. Obviously, for the University of Delaware rowing team, they had Saturday practices and matches, so they couldn't make a traditional Great Strides event that was early on a Saturday morning. And Jeffrey really saw that these girls would not be able to attend an event, so he used the Passion Fundraising site to really capture this demographic that he might not have been able to if Delaware Valley had just kind of passed along the event information to them. And Jeffrey also did a really great job identifying something that both of these groups do naturally. And in this case, it was a rowing event and a D for Dude event, and he got them to use the website. Passion fundraising it's really about taking something that your participant loves to do and making it into a fundraiser. And Jeffrey did a really great job with both of these groups doing that. So good job, Jeffrey, and thank you so much for sharing those stories with us. So now I am pleased to introduce Sue Noland. Sue works for our Maryland chapter and loves everything Great Strides, and she has worked with one of our all-star volunteers, Laura Gordon, over the past 10 years to raise almost $90,000 for Annapolis Great Strides and Teen Feast. She's going to let us know how she worked with her volunteer to make the transition onto the platform, on the Passion Fundraising platform, seamless for her volunteer. Sue?
Hi, everyone. Yes. This is more of a grassroots event, and it is directly associated with Great Strides. Laura Gordon, who you may have all met at the VLC convention last year, was one of the two chairmen. So she's been doing this for 11 years. She now has 10 Great Strides teams, but she has a big hop-a-thon that started when her son Austin, who is now 15, was in preschool and elementary school. Their school kind of embraced Austin, and they love the family, and they held a hop-a-thon, and she's kept it going since 2006, and it has raised almost $88,000 in those years. Well, the last 2 years, Laura, embracing everything new that is CF, got the hop-a-thon on the fundraising, the Passion website. She usually raises between $6,500 and $8,000, she said. $8,000 is what she made this year. It's her best year ever. And this is just a bunch of, elementary school doing a hop. She is also very happy to send out all the HOP materials. She doesn't want any team leader or family that wants to do a hop-a-thon in their school. She doesn't want them to have to reinvent the wheel. So I have her email, and National does, of course, and her phone number, and she's very happy to send materials to them. They used the Passion Fundraising website last year and also this year, and she said there was a little bit of a learning curve, you know, as people got used to it this year. That's why she thinks they went from about 6,500 to 8,000 because people, you know, were able to share it on social media and raise money on the Passion website. She did have a few expenses, and she said she got a lot of cash donations in as well. So she used those for the expenses, and according to Laura, her only expenses were for the person that made the most money. They gave away Target gift cards, and I think they had that in just about every class. The top person got like a Target gift card. She said they tried a myriad of gift cards, you know, everything from Amazon to Subway, but she said Target seems to be the one that people like the best because they could just use it, go to the store, buy whatever they wanted. She attributes, of course, this, you know, her success this year with more people being familiar with the website. And she said it's also good for, you know, if you have a team, just like Jeffrey said, if you have a team that's using this, to meet with them and help them work the website, help them with the Passion thing. We also have a D for Dude event at the University of Maryland that is associated with one of our Baltimore Great Strides teams, and I'm actually going to meet with them, thanks to Jeffrey. If I have any questions, I'll call you, and try to get them to use the Passion website this year. I think that's pretty much all there is to it. This is just a grassroots event. I have another team, Team Kayla, that does a barbecue event in the summer, and there are no expenses associated with it. A family in Kayla's neighborhood does it for her, and also one of my other big team leaders, Ashley Silcott, who's a $20,000 team, does like a yoga-thon in the summer, and all they do is pay their $10 or $20 yoga fee on the Passion Fundraising website. So that's been really easy for them.
Hey, Sue, do you also want to tell everyone a little bit about the stand-up comedy event that you guys have? Really neat event.
We have oh yes, I'm so sorry. We had a brand new comedy event this year in Frederick, Maryland. It's a smaller site, it's a $130,000 site, and this was a team that has 2 children with cystic fibrosis, and they made about $4,000 last year. They had a comedy night where they got the site, the Blue Side Tavern, donated. People bought their own food and drinks. They had a small silent auction, and they did all of the ticketing through the Passion website. I think the tickets were $25 a piece just to come and hear the Comedy Pigs. And the Comedy Pigs, this group just donated their time. It was really nice. They had 60 people, and they made $2,000, and they've never used it before. They had an open laptop at the event, and when you came to buy tickets, instead of giving them, if you were going to give a credit card, instead of doing that, they just put you on the computer and you donated right there online. So a lot of the money, the beauty of this, Dara Riva said, was that the money went right into her account and it was totally hooked up to her Great Strides. She was thrilled. The club was thrilled, and they can't wait to do it again next year. So I think that success breeds success, and she had such a great success, and she saw how Passion Fundraising works, so I have her talk to other people, because the parent-to-parent or the peer-to-peer works, you know, a lot better. That's why we have Laura Gordon, who does the hop-a-thon, talk to different people too. And it was a great success for her. She literally doubled what her team brought in. And a $4,000 team is not bad. Her goal was $1,500, and I think her goal is going to be like $10,000 for next year. So that's quite a jump to Passion Fundraising. And
okay, well, thank you so much for sharing all those stories, Sue. And some key takeaways from Sue's section is that there will kind of always be a learning curve, and you know, it's always going to take some time to adjust for a participant with an existing RAP or Passion Fundraising event to use the new platform. And so the good thing is we have great resources for you and your volunteers to help navigate the process for the first time. We have our wonderful Sandbox site, which I will show you the information for later, and where you can actually go in and set up a, you know, a test site and really help, you know, familiarize yourself with the website. And then we have our user guide, which is a comprehensive step-by-step guide on how to set up a passion fundraising event. And I personally think that the site is very user-friendly. There are many blue information bubbles all over the place, so if you or any of your volunteers are ever stuck, be sure to scroll over the blue information bubbles, and those will pop up with some suggestions on what to do. And as always, please feel free to give me a call or have any of your volunteers give me a call if you guys have any questions. And thank you again, Sue. So now we are going to hear from Addison Osteen from our Georgia chapter. We often have Great Strides or other events that are canceled, and we don't want to lose that revenue. And we also want to consider donor intent, but sometimes hosting a small maintenance walk isn't always in the cards for a chapter with larger events or a larger number of events. So today Addison is going to let you know how she worked with a family in Georgia to set up a passion fundraising event so they can host their own Great Strides event. Addison?
Thanks, Lisa. This year in the Great Strides National Program, there were 49 canceled walks that represent over $1 million in revenue. National only expects half of the revenue to come back from existing events and about $150,000 to transfer to other special events. We have a great example of one of our families that decided to host a walk even when their event was canceled through the chapter. Our Columbus walk was a maintenance walk site, and this year we canceled the walk because there were only 3 families who were performing, and 2 of those families were interested in transitioning to the Atlanta walk. One of the families in particular, Team Clarabelle, was not excited about transitioning to a larger walk because they felt their participants wouldn't travel to Atlanta. So I pitched to them to have their own walk and make it local using the Passion Fundraising website. After showing them examples of other event pages across the country, they were very excited to host their own walk. Though they aren't super technologically savvy, I helped them customize the site with their own pictures, and in turn, this allowed them to raise more money than last year. They also had a much larger participant turnout. This particular walk raised money through donations, but there are ways to enable individual fundraising pages to set up team pages. If you would like a personalized demonstration, you can reach out to Lisa Barthune.
Thank you, Addison, and great job working with this family to set up an event that was going to be canceled, and you ended up raising more money. That's amazing. So as Addison said at the end of her section, I'm always available to answer any questions you have about setting up a Great Strides event or any other event, and I can also walk you through the process of setting up individual pages that can serve as team pages. Every Great Strides and every CFF event is truly unique, so if you are interested in setting up a walk through the Passion Fundraising website, please feel free to give me a call and I can show you some cool tips and tricks for setting up your event so it can be personalized to your participants and your donors, and so it can be as successful as possible. All right, and now I'm happy to turn it over to Laurent Kino, who is a development director from our San Diego chapter. Laurent has experienced great success with many different passion fundraisers this year and last. This year, with Laurent's help, a volleyball team called Attacking CF almost tripled its profits, and it was also featured on a local news segment in the San Diego area. Laurent will also discuss a huge orange Wham CF golf tournament that he has helped grow through the Passion Fundraising website. And Laurent will also share some keys to success that have helped him achieve great growth through the platform. Laurent?
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate being a part of this. Very excited. So there are a few keys to success that I've been asked to talk about today. And the first one has been mentioned a few times in this webinar, but I think it bears repeating. Test it out. Not all of our team leaders are technically savvy, and in fact, the 2 that I'm going to talk about today are not the most technically savvy people in the world, but they really wanted to make it happen, and I wanted to be able to support them. And that sandbox, using the sandbox information, being able to familiarize yourself with the site is so important. They're going to come to you with questions, and it's wonderful to have Lisa to answer a lot of the questions, and Lisa can attest that I have sent people there, too, to answer questions that I didn't know the answer to. But it is so important to know how it works, and I have gone to people's homes and helped them set up their websites. We have all kinds of different passion fundraising events, not just our golf and our volleyball. We have a fun run, we have a 65-mile run that somebody does, we have a wine event, we have a long swim. There's all kinds of ways that the Passion Fundraising website can be customized for what you need, and it is important to know how to do it. So the sandbox information is really helpful. So I can't emphasize that enough, but test it out. It's so useful and so helpful. I've also been asked to talk about communication. And 2 years ago when we started Passion Fundraising, I think it was 2 years ago, we all learned how to use it, and the first thing that we decided to do in our chapter was to send it out to everyone and make sure that people knew this option was out there. So we started including it in our Great Strides newsletters and in other communications to our team leaders. We would bring handouts and still do bring handouts to our one-on-one meetings with all the team leaders, all of that, because you never know what is going to spike someone's interest, what's going to make them want to participate in a Passion fundraiser. So Lisa mentioned our Attacking CF volleyball match, and this event, as we said, tripled in revenue. And when it first started, it came out of a CF mom whose son had been diagnosed at an older age. He was 15 at the time, and we met just to talk about their Great Strides team, and we were talking about their interests and what her son did, and she mentioned that he was on his high school's volleyball team. And that was something they were passionate about, she was very involved in, and we talked about what that could be, what it would look like, and one of the things that really convinced her to do the event was to have a Passion fundraising site, to have that option. So from there, she was able to set up the Passion fundraising website, recruit their teammates, recruit teams from other towns, really to put together a whole series of matches and really push the information out there. She was so excited to not have to link it directly to their Great Strides page, in that you were able to go to a totally different website that only talked about their event and didn't mention Great Strides, because she wanted this to feel like its own event. And that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't gone and spoken with her and communicated what the Passion fundraising websites were, and just had all the information and made it really easy for her. And we're also able to help her set it up, just like when I mentioned the sandbox information. Another key to success is the presenting to key volunteers. So this example talks about our WHAM CF golf tournament. So we'll go to the next slide when you're ready. There we go. And you can see that there's a lot of people there. They all wear orange. It's a really fun event, and this year will be their 6th annual WHAM CF golf tournament. And this is a really important team leader to our chapter. They're actually the largest fundraising team for our San Diego Walk, and we really wanted to make sure that they were happy and that things were easy for them. And before the Passion fundraising websites, they had tried all kinds of different ways to do this tournament. They had people write a check to the golf course and a check to the foundation. They had people just paying in cash. They had people using a square that they would then split up between the foundation and the club. And it just got really messy and really complicated, and to be honest, really frustrating. They were really struggling with how are they going to do this, and because it's volunteer-driven, there was so much logistics being handled by the family and their friends who set it up for them. So they were getting really frustrated and really struggling with what to do. And it really, the Passion fundraising websites may well have saved this event. I don't know if they'd still be doing it. It is a $35,000 event, so it's huge for us. And through the Passion fundraising website, they've really simplified and streamlined everything they do. It's helped them grow their tournament. They have more golfers than ever. They've raised more money than ever. And a lot of it is because we were able to take those money-gathering logistics off their hands and put it all into the Passion fundraising website. And they could focus on getting more golfers, getting better auction items, just making sure the day was an awesome day. And that was all because we went to a key volunteer and said, you do this great event, would you consider transitioning into the Passion fundraising website? And they were so excited and so game, and they worked really hard to make a great site. They just launched their site for this year. It just went out. We're so happy that this was an option for them. And we brought it to other key volunteers, other top team leaders and other board members and people like that who may have an idea, who may have a passion that they're willing to bring forward. It's really helped our fundraising, helped our chapter, and helped us engage with volunteers who were struggling or frustrated or anything like that. So it's been very helpful for us to have the Passion fundraising website and to present it to those who might be able to use it. And I think that's all I had. Lisa, unless you had anything else from me.
No, that was about it. Thank you so much, Laurent. I love hearing your stories about WHAM CF and attacking CF. And Aaron, I think you told me that Aaron, spoke at his first ever attacking CF event last year or this year.
He did, and he was on the news as well, which was so exciting for him and his family. And it's really been a big thing for Aaron. When he started, he was a sophomore, and now he was a junior this year, and he's really enjoying the spotlight a little bit and coming into his own and getting confident on stage with a microphone. It's really neat to see.
Good. And then will you explain a little bit about how the opposing teams have reacted to attacking CF?
Excitedly is the only word I can come up with. They embrace it. They are so excited to be a part of this event. And the volleyball world in San Diego is kind of tight-knit, and everybody knows everybody. In fact, our Gilead rep, his children play volleyball, so he knew the story. It's just been fascinating to see all this volleyball world rally around this family and rally around this event. It's been really neat.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laurent. You and the rest of the San Diego chapter always provide your participants with such great customer service, and I think that really, reflects in the success of these events. And I just wanted to highlight a few key points. Laurent was able to show his volunteers and participants how to use the site to its maximum potential because he got on the testing website and played around with it himself. Becoming familiar with the website will help train your participants to be ambassadors of the Passion Fundraising website so they can show it to their friends and families who can then start their own events. And then also, like Laurent said, it's important to open the door to Passion Fundraising to your higher level volunteers and participants. And even if they don't, host an event, they might have someone in mind who can use the platform to raise money. So I wanted to take a moment to share some resources with you that will help you with the Passion Fundraising website. As I mentioned before, here is the CFF Sandbox testing information. And we would love for everyone to get onto the Passion Fundraising website to do some testing, but we want our live site to only, contain active events. So please use this test site to practice setting up an event. And you can also I know people that have done demonstrations through the Sandbox, which is really cool. You can actually go to a young professional event or a board meeting and go on the Sandbox and actually set up a test event, which is, cool because you can walk through the entire process of setting up an event. So there is a Passion Fundraising Jira component, and then there is an information about Passion Fundraising under the rose, under campaigns. So we have two reports that are currently live in BI, the Passion Fundraiser Overview and Passion Fundraiser by Fundraiser. The overview breaks down how many events your participants have hosted by CFF special event, and the report by Fundraiser will break it down one step further and let you know the name of the participant who has created the event and how much they've raised. So I think we saw a few questions. The first question is, for Clarabelle's Passion Fundraising website, didn't they have to register for a Great Strides walk through the Great Strides website? So yes, that is true. It's important to let your participants know that they will have to register for a Great Strides event through fightcf.cff.org. And, you can work with your participants to see which of, the walk sites they want to use. But I think the most important part is that they didn't want to travel. Team Clarabelle didn't want to travel to the Atlanta site. So, really creating a Passion Fundraising page, that was their event page. So they, sent that out, in lieu of, having a fightcf.cff.org page. They just had their Passion Fundraiser page, and that served as their true event page. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any other questions about that, let me know. We have another question here. And I'm going to kick this one over to Laurent. How did the golf event pay the golf club and cover expenses?
Sure. So they did it a variety of ways. They did have some people who still preferred to pay in cash or who and didn't care about a tax receipt or things like that. But most of it was paid via their sponsors. So I know that's kind of a unique situation where they do have sponsors for their wrap event, and so their sponsors were willing to write checks directly to the event site and things like that. But we've seen that work with other passion fundraisers where the team itself is willing to cover the expenses, or they'll have an angel golfer or another donor who's willing to cover expenses for them.
Thank you, Laurent. We have a few other questions. They can register for a cycle, extreme hike, and climb event now, correct? Yes, that is correct. 48 hours after a participant registers for a climb, cycle, or hike event, they will see the blue Passion Fundraising button in their participant center, and the Passion Fundraising site is the exact same. But it will say there on the landing page of the dashboard, it will have, there's an added column where it says the event name, so it won't get confusing which event they're doing a Passion Fundraiser for. And people can do multiple Passion Fundraising events for their campaigns. So, and then would you be able to send us a test website link via email? Yes, I will do that. And if anyone else needs that, I can send that to them as well. And that's also on the roads too. Do we have any other questions? All right, I'm not seeing any, but again, here's my contact information, and this information also appears at the top of the Passion Fundraising page. It's a page wrapper, and please feel free to give me a call or pass along my information to any volunteers, donors, or participants. Okay, we have one more question. How do you deal with people doing raffles? So we actually do have an auditing process that we do at the national level. I go through and I read the event pages, make sure that they're not doing raffles, and I really just monitor their sites, to make sure that, everything is compliant. I will first alert the staff, usually the executive director, and I will let them know. I'll say, hey, we can't really have this language about raffles or, any of that on the page, and usually either they can reach out to the participant or I've reached out to participants before, and then we usually try to give them a week to take that down, and then if not, we can intervene, but, it's never really gotten to that level yet. So people are usually, pretty okay about taking that information down if we let them know about it. So the question is, do they sign a third-party agreement when they sign up for Passion Fundraising? The terms and agreements, when you sign, when you agree to those, when you initially sign up for the Passion Fundraising website, does include the third-party agreement. So that's all included. All right, any other questions? Well, thank you to our presenters. Thank you for sharing your time and your stories with us today, and thank you to the rest of you for joining us today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.